adaptive program? Where'd you start?
Well, it's kind of a longer story, but I'll try to keep it quick. Um, I had a daughter 12 years ago with Down syndrome, and that was a surprise to us. And I'm a teacher, and I've been teaching for, I don't know, 18 years off and on, mostly casual, like day-to-day assignments, but also some long terms in there. And I work a lot with like the special education population. So it wasn't like new for me in general. It just was a new parenting thing that we weren't quite expecting. One of the thoughts that came to me when I had a daughter with a disability was that, especially a visible disability for her, was thinking like, okay, she's going to go to a gym one day and just not have access
Yeah.
based on just the way she looked, and somebody saying like, or feeling uncomfortable allowing her into that space, maybe just not that they don't want to, but they just don't know how to, or they're nervous, or it's, the unknown. Um, so my husband at the time was doing CrossFit at a local gym here, and I was like, why did you do this to yourself? This is no, I'm never joining you. First of all, I hate this for everyone. That's how it kind of started. And then as he was sort of telling me how like the methodology, like infinitely scalable, infinitely modifiable, um, all abilities, all of these things are like sticking out in my mind. And I'm like, okay, this is literally like the perfect formula for a person with a disability. It's like what we do in education, right? We like tailor it to like support and accommodate each person where they're at. And so it started sounding to me a lot like that's what CrossFit was. And
Mm.
so when we started our foundation, the Chasing Hazel Foundation in 2018, which is a registered charity here in our local city, um, the box owner is awesome, John. He's like so supportive of local businesses, local endeavors, all of that. And he said to my husband, like, if you guys ever need any help with anything, like, let me know. Or like, we can get involved in some way as a community. And I was like, how about how about we start an adaptive program? And he was like, oh, oh. And then immediately he kind of hesitated and he was like, yes, yes, let's do that. And I was like, you're scared, but he was like, yes, I am, but it's fine. So um I love that. Like I always tell people, it was like a scary yes. And he was willing to say the scary yes and like kind of own it. And that's really all it takes, I think. Like it doesn't take much more than that. It's just like the willingness and the mindset to want to do that. And so we kind of started rolling it out from there, and that was about 6 years ago. Maybe between 5 and 6, so 2018. I don't know. It's all blurry now.
Roles just kind
Co-
years kind of roll into one.
you know what? Like in COVID was like an eraser.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like so anyway, yeah, so that's kind of how we started. And we had three people with Down syndrome that were just like people I knew, to be
Mm.
fair. I was like, let's do you are you interested in trying this out with us? Can you like pilot this program for us? And John was like, yeah, let's get them in. And so John focused on the training part of it, and I focused on the support accommodation, and like making sure that the information that John was putting out was accessible to the people who were coming in. And so it was kind of a really nice partnership, and still continues to be a nice partnership that he's like, I have obviously learned a lot about CrossFit over the past 5 years, much more than I knew when I walked through the door. But um, it still is a nice partnership between the two of us. So we've now, like, we started with those three, and now I think we have about 20. I want to say a couple people just joined. I have to count the numbers again, but we have like 20 athletes with disabilities now, varying from like Down syndrome to, some are on the spectrum, some are just whatever, all
Mm.
different kinds of things going on. But yeah, so we're pretty proud of it.
I love looking at gyms as like a hub to help humanity, right? It's kind of like the epicenter. It's the community center. It's the YMCA where everybody's welcome, right?
Hmm.
And you said that you learned a lot about CrossFit. I
Hmm.
think the gym owners and the coaches around have learned a lot about people because you've brought everybody in from walks of life. They are now welcome into this space because we just had the conversation, right? Like, you don't know what you don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
many coaches slash owners are like, no, they're not allowed in here. Like, I don't think many people are like that. I would like
Oh,
to, err on the side of caution and be a little bit more optimistic. Yeah, you get the gyms that are like, we're just competitive gyms, and if you can't hit a
yeah.
Fran time in under 5 minutes, fuck off, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine,
100%.
no
Yeah.
problem.
Bye.
Yeah, you do your thing, mate. You're
Yeah. Yeah.
exercising for time. Like, get over
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think most people do want to help folks. And, if you're going to put your business hat on, purely business hat, let's leave humanity at the door for a second. Like,
Hmm.
they're probably going to come in during downtime, down hours, lower people through the door. Okay, it's another avenue of revenue, right? And then
Hmm.
you've got a truly inclusive community because you've got
Hmm.
people of all walks of life in the local community, which
Hmm.
means they're now talking to more people within that demographic in the larger community to pull people into that hub or YMCA, which is your gym. So I only see it as a benefit.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Like, I think we look at CrossFit, or some people look at CrossFit like I did at the beginning, right? And it's like, oh, I'm too scared of that. Like, that's the elite population. It's in at the end of the day, the stuff that's kind of seen and represented out there is something that even myself, I don't envision myself even doing. And I've been doing CrossFit for 5 years. So it's like, to get like the average person who's not, doesn't, who can't see themselves in that type of, work, or in that type of community, like, it's hard to sell it to people when it's not relatable. And so I think you hit on a whole 'nother demographic of people who are underserved, right? And that was kind of the point. It's like, these folks have been continually pushed out of inclusive community programming, because they don't, quote unquote fit the mold of what, like, sit and listen and perform the way I tell you to perform. And if you can't do the, points of performance from here, here, and here, well, this isn't the program for you. So it's like that type of person who isn't necessarily a disabled person, um, just doesn't feel that they have anywhere to be, or be in community, or belong. And so I think, it definitely became sort of, the bigger picture for us was less about Fran times, which all of our athletes probably do have Fran times because we have high expectations of them all, but they definitely don't get a free pass. But more that we've created a safe, welcoming place where people can just be who they are and not try to be more, neurotypical. You don't have to try to attain something. Like, if you're, neurodiverse, good. You do that. You be who you are going to be, and we're all going to kind of respect you for that, and welcome you, and allow you a space to flourish if we can. So yeah, that's kind of our mindset about it. And you're absolutely right. It is a definite revenue source. It's not, and John will tell you this if you were talking to him too, he would say, like, it's not a charity. Nobody wants a charity, right? I do run a charity, but, and we have been partners with the gym, but overall, um, the members that come in, they pay. It's not, free hour, respite hour to come and just kind of do whatever you want. You're going to pay membership fees or whatever, drop-in fees, whatever you're doing, 10 class passes or whatever, and you're going to join the class. There's going to be neurotypical people in that class. There's going to be people with intellectual disabilities in that class, and everyone is going to get the coach's attention equally as much.
Mm. I think about it as a start line, right? Start line to a race. And there's some folks that start on the start line. There's some people that start a mile back,
Hmm.
right? And our job is to start everybody at the start line.
Yeah, exactly.
How do we bring
Exactly. And
everybody up to that same level, right? And it's just the equal opportunity. It's not like special.
mhm,
Um, well, what's the word? I can't think of the
it's
word.
equity.
Is equity.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to drag anyone down. I'm not trying to give everybody a bit of special attention. It's like, no, no, no. Everybody has an equal shot. And guess what? If you don't get out of bed and you don't work hard, that's on you, mate. No
Mm-hmm.
problem. That's on you.
Exactly.
We'll show up for the
Exactly.
people that will show up and do want to work hard.
Exactly. And I will tell you this right now, and anyone in our gym would say, these guys who show up to the adaptive class, they want to be there.
Yeah.
They want to put the work in. They do not complain, and they work 10 times harder than anybody else. So, yeah, you're going to get my energy. You're going to get my attention. You're going to get my coaching. You're going to get my patience. You're going to get all of it. You're going to get everything I have to give you because you are practicing single skips and it's taken you a year to get one. And somebody else is practicing dubs over there and they're, throwing their rope around. Like none of our adaptive athletes are doing that. They're like, I'll try a different rope. Like I'll buy 10 ropes and I'll try every single one and I'll keep sitting here for however long I have to sit here or stand here and turn that fucker over my head a million times before I get one skip. And then they're so happy, but they don't complain in the meantime. The process is never a problem for them.
What's the biggest thing they've taught you?
Oh man. It's so many things. I can't even I think what I take away from being in the disability community so much, especially with my daughter, is that they allow me a different lens to view the world in. It's not just my lens. It's not neurotypical, able-bodied, white woman walking around. And of course, that is my subjective lens, and I'm not going to be able to change that. Um, but allowing me like a slight opportunity to see what they're dealing with, see how they see the world, see how the world interacts with them, see what barriers have been placed on them without them being even responsible for those barriers. It's just subjectively ingrained in society. So I think that's kind of like my biggest thing is just having access to that knowledge of being able to see things a different way than I would just be able to see them by myself.
I completely agree. And once you have dipped a toe in that reality, you can't unsee it.
No.
You walk past somewhere, you're like, that's got a little step. And there is no way to get in if you're a seating athlete. You'd
Mhm.
have to hop in your fucking
Mhm.
chair, right?
Mhm.
Or ask for a Peggy or something. Or you're like, the music is blasted, right? So there's a lot of sensory stuff going on. And nobody
Mhm.
knows any fucking sign language.
No. Right.
Like it
It's
kind
a
of
lot.
it kind of winds me up here. Uh, we're in CrossFit gyms. We like to listen to some fucking loud music. Everybody likes to throw down. We talked about visual cues during a workout. Why? Because they can't hear what you're saying. Nor do they
Right.
give a shit. Let's be honest. They don't care what you're saying to them. They
It's
want
so true.
fucking scores on the
Yeah.
whiteboard. They want another
Yeah.
kilo on the bar. They want the coach to
Yeah.
piss off. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Mhm.
But if you show them, it's a lot better, right? But nobody knows any sign language. Like, even how are you,
Yep.
right? Your name, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
Mine's 4 letters, for Christ's sake. Just you can remember 4 letters.
Yep.
Um, I think
It's
it's
true.
sad, but I think it needs to be taught. I think communication needs to be taught. It does get touched on a level two, a little bit, but I think we need to take accountability on ourselves, and gyms need to take accountability for their coaches' development programs,
Mhm.
CDPs, right? Of like, okay, well, how are we communicating with our folks? Because now we're no longer seeing them for a seminar, which is 2 days. We're seeing them for,
Mhm.
fingers crossed, 40 years. So how do we develop
Mhm.
that relationship? And then how do we develop the communication style with each individual athlete that walks through the door, whether they're neurotypical or neurodivergent, whether they got fucking 3 legs, whether they've got 7, it doesn't matter. Like,
Mhm.
how do we talk to this individual? And then you usually doing the same classes, right? And people would come to the
Mhm.
same classes. So again, it
Mhm.
should be a moving target. We should be working towards something, but we
Mhm.
don't
I like
because it's
it.
hard.
I like it is hard. And I will say it's hard. I'm the first to admit, like, we've had several meetings with other boxes, and it's like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's easy. It's not easy. It's intentional, it's hard, and it's worth it. Like, it's never gonna be something that you have to put your effort and energy into, and then you regret putting that effort and energy into it. And so I think, like, we get to decide as humans, like, what we want to put our effort and energy into, and we can sit around and think about the negative stuff that's happening, or, focus on the stuff that's kind of everyday things that, or everyday irritants, if you will, which, and I do that. So it's not that I don't, I'm not above it, but it's it's making sure that whatever we decide to spend our energy, time energy management, or whatever you want to talk about, um, is, if you spend it on an adaptive athlete or a person with a disability, in my experience, you're never going to go at the end and be like, well, that was a waste of energy. Like, it's not going to happen, because you're going to get replenished energy from what they're putting out to you, right? It's equal. We can share energy with people. So it's, what the energy I get from them is far beyond probably the energy that I even give to them. So I feel like at the end I win.
I'm talking about learning,
And
right? Like you
yeah.
have learned so much.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're getting paid to help people and learn to be better at your craft. That's a pretty rad
Yes.
fucking gig.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Like, it's been a huge blessing. I mean, for me, like I said, I was not about to join the CrossFit gym. I was not about to even try even doing a CrossFit workout based on what my husband was up to at the time. And then I went to this pilot program twice a week for 8 weeks. I brought my little girls with me. They were probably, I don't know, what was 2018. They were like 4 and 5, or 3 and 4, I want to say. And I dragged them to the gym and I would watch them work out, and I couldn't join them. I physically couldn't join them. And I was like, this is not cool. Like, if I'm going to be training people and I'm going to be involved, I want to work out too. And so I spent time at home, like 3 months at home, working out, doing squats, doing lunges, doing push-ups, doing knee push-ups, doing whatever. Like, totally not athletic, not even close. Never played a sport in my life, never went to a gym, never, nothing. Did all those little things at home. Ran around my block outside. Like, it took me 27 minutes to go 800 meters. Like, I don't know, it's like, whatever. Like, I just did what I could, and then went back, and I was like, I made a promise, like, next time I went back, I was going to be able to demo the movements with them, work out alongside them, like, help them out in any way that I could, but being more hands-on about it. And now, like, 5 years later, it's completely enriched my life. Like, I feel healthier, I feel stronger, I feel like I can chase my kids around. I feel like I've accomplished so many things that I didn't even know I was, that were goals of mine. And it wouldn't have happened without them. And I don't want to be like, oh, they're so inspiring. Like, it's not that, because I hate that so much. But it's like, they motivated me. Like, they made me want to do something because they were there, simply just existing.
They pulled you up.
Yeah,
You know, I
100%.
a pull is always stronger than a push, right?
Mhm.
And watching them, they pulled you forward. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a big believer. You don't need a million people. You don't need 20 friends. You really don't. You just need
No.
these hardcore ride or die motherfuckers around you that ain't gonna accept your bullshit when you fall victim to it. They're just gonna
Yeah,
grab you by the
100%.
scruff of the neck and just throw you forward and be like, I don't give a fuck, bitch. Like we're doing this. We're
Yeah.
doing this.
Mhm.
Like, and it takes you 3 months, it takes you 3 years, 30 years, it doesn't matter, but we're doing this. And it's like,
Little teeny steps forward, man. That's it.
okay.
That's it.
But that's the whole point. like we try and bite off more than we can chew. I
Mm-hmm.
think we overestimate what we can do in a day, and we
Mm-hmm.
underestimate the power of those small little steps. It's
Mm-hmm.
just breadcrumbs, man.
100%. Mm-hmm.
You just got to dig some holes every
Mm-hmm.
day. Just a little, just a little, just a little. Just go shift a little bit of dirt from A to B.
Yep,
You know, you do that every day, you're gonna build a fucking big hole.
exactly. And also, it's not, I always say too, like, I don't want to see anybody holding like whatever your definition of success is, or a goal achieved. It's it's not lesser than for somebody else, right? Like if your goal is muscle up or whatever, it's fine, great, go do that. But if your goal is to fall down, stand up, or go from sitting to standing, or whatever your goal is, like those goals are equal. Those That success is an equal amount of success to me. It doesn't You don't get more praise because you did the muscle up. It's, this person's been working for a year to sit down and stand up.
Yeah.
I think we need to like reevaluate those types of things as well, right? And I think that's what our program has done, and just not for in just our adaptive population, but just like for everyone in a gym. It's like everyone has goals. And there's so many people in our gym who never want to get up on the rings or never want to get up on the bar, and that's fine.
Mm.
Their goals are equally as important as anyone else's. And so I think we're constantly sort of bringing that to the surface of just even the culture of the gym.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think those expectations come from immature coaches. You
Yeah,
know, it's
maybe.
I'm gonna portray my goals onto you because why wouldn't you want to be able to do this? It's like,
Yeah.
well, okay, Jeffrey, that's what you want to fucking do. Maybe
Yeah,
Bob down the
exactly.
road doesn't give a shit about the rings.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, maybe
Probably
that
not.
probably not. Like, who gives a fuck?
Probably not. No.
Like this
No.
is adult PE and we're calling it sport and we're defining
Yeah.
fitness and we're giving ourselves points about times on leaderboards and it's like that's fantastic. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fucking massive
Yes.
sport head, right?
Yeah, same.
But
Same.
tiring everyone with that brush and be
No.
like, you're all gonna want to do this. It's like, how about you ask him?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. 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 And we have the best coaches in our gym, honestly. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but like we just have a really cool spot. We just have a really, really cool spot. Everybody is welcome to be whoever, whatever, however they can show up, just as long as they're not late for the whiteboard brief, however they want.
Turn up on fucking time.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. I got pet peeves.
And
Rule with an iron fist.
no, honestly, man, you gotta. So yeah, so that's our program mainly, man. It's been a journey. Been a journey. One I'm so blessed to be part of for sure.
You said you didn't like the word inspiration. So I will do my best to try and meander on around it. But there is a lot more folks out there who are not in the adaptive community who do look to the people who are in your program and the people that run it and take a lot of fucking grit from it and be like, you know what? That's cool as shit. There's a little twinkle of goodness in people again. Maybe someone does want to fucking help somebody else.
I love that.
Maybe we can learn from somebody that I would just tar with a prejudiced brush and just be like, fuck them off.
Yeah.
Maybe we can learn from. Maybe we can all band together and try and skid through the end wall, all script and scraped, and be like, that was a kind of rad journey. I'm kind of done. You know, we only get one shot, but if you do it right, we once is enough.
Yeah. I love that.
Maybe we can all band together.
I hope so, man. I really hope so. Like nothing makes me happier than than having these conversations and
Hmm.
just knowing that there are people out there, like like I mentioned earlier, we've talked to so many box owners and coaches, and not like literally every time John and I get done meeting, I'll text him immediately, or he'll text me and be like, "Oh my god, those people were so cool. Like, why do we get to talk to the coolest people?" And it's such a life giver. I know it sounds so like cliche or whatever, but it's like it feels so refreshing to be done with a conversation like this one, or like one where people are like, yes, I see value in what you're saying and doing, and I want to do that, and I want to provide a service to people who are underserved. And it's like, and they get it already, they already know that what they need to do, and they already know that it's important work that they're doing, and they don't see themselves as heroes, and they don't get the hero complex, and it's like, oh, look at what I'm doing for people with disabilities. Like, I don't ever want anybody to look at me and say, like, oh, look what she's doing for people with disabilities, what, she's such a hero. No, it's not, because trust me, they've given me more than I've given them. And I do feel like it is my duty as a person in community and a citizen in this world to provide allyship to people who need it. And it's not that I'm like trying to be the hero in this scenario, but it's like, I have a voice, I have, I have skills, I have something to offer, and I want to enrich and increase, you know, life experience for anybody that I can. Like, whether you have a disability or not, right? Like, I don't just coach the people in my gym or gym that have a disability. I coach everybody in the gym, and they're in my classes, and I just want to enrich their life for an hour.
The right thing is always the right thing.
Hmm.
I think it's become a standard rule to just care about the person who's looking at you in the mirror, where you want to
Hmm.
be and how to carve out and which person I can use as a bigger stepping stone to climb this metaphorical ladder to give me more dollars so I can buy more shit that I didn't want to impress people I don't like.
Right.
So I can
Right.
become more depressed, so I can drink more
Yeah.
and spend more money.
Exactly.
And you're like, wait, what the
Exactly.
fuck are we doing,
Yeah.
man?
Not
Like,
right.
hold
Yeah.
on a minute. Let me just pause this TV show.
Yeah.
I didn't want to sit down and watch this one. I didn't want to participate, Yeah. I got three questions.
Yes.
What's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
The one that keeps coming to me is, don't feed the angry dog. So if your neighbor's
Oh,
dog is barking at you and you give it a piece of steak, the next day it's going to come back and bark louder at you, and you give it a bigger piece of steak. The next day it's going to bark louder at you. You give it a bigger piece of steak, and what's going to happen? Just going to keep getting louder and louder and louder. So I kind of think about that a lot when I'm thinking about negative thoughts or negative energy. Just in terms of myself, I don't have to feed the angry dog. I don't have to give those negative thoughts any energy. I just try to avoid it or try to steer it into a positive direction. Um, the negative energy just stays the negative little thing instead of becoming this big, massive, blown out thing. So, like, that's somebody told me that one time a long time ago, and it comes to mind a lot. If I'm like talking about something, or there's just like a continual irritant that just is getting bigger and bigger only because I'm giving it the energy to be bigger. So that's kind of one thing I take with me.
what's the worst piece of life advice you've ever received?
Like, life works itself out. It's all just gonna be fine. Like, it's like, are you freaking kidding me, man? If you are not an active participant in your life and building what you want to have and reflecting the important things to others, then you're it's not just going to work out. Like, it's active participation in building something that you take pride in.
Mm, I like that a lot.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I think people believe that they need to be this immovable object, right?
Yep.
And
let the
They,
things happen. It's like,
yeah, and
no.
they think, oh, life's not going to
It's
break
not
me,
gonna
you know?
happen. No,
Well, if it
no, you
doesn't
have
break
to
you, it
go
will
and
kill
get
you.
it. Yeah, you have to go get it. You can't just sit around and say it's going to happen for you. You have to get it, and you have to be consistent at it, and you have to be uncomfortable. You're just not going to grow or learn if you're just always comfortable. I could go on and on, but I'll stop.
It's just like I tell members. You say it hurts, coach, and I say, so does life.
Yep.
Get on with it.
Just
What the fuck are you
just
gonna do?
preparing you. Just preparing you.
You're gonna sit down with your thumb in your ass and cry fucking mama? No. Get it done, man.
Mm-mm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be here with you. I'm gonna help fucking do this thing. But it's gonna suck. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rough.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
welcome welcome to life, motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, what are the 3 words you would tell your younger self?
um, 3 words: learn, unlearn, adapt.
Hmm.
Never, never gonna, the more things you learn, the more things you learn you need to learn about. Right? Like the more you learn, the less you know, or I think you see the less you know. Um, and then the things that we learn oftentimes are full of bias from wherever we've grabbed them from. So it's time to unlearn about the biases and really kind of look inside and see where the biases come from and how we can kind of deconstruct them for ourselves. And adapt is honestly like if you can't adapt, you're you're gonna die. Like
Hmm.
there's no other way around it. I mean, life doesn't come at you in a straight line and continue on that path, right? And having a kid with a disability and amongst other things in my life that have happened, just parenting in general, just it's a lot. Um, Life just doesn't come at you in a straight line, and if you can't adapt or be flexible, then I just don't see you enjoying it very much.
Yeah. It's
And
gonna kick.
growing, right?
That's
Like you
it,
got to
man.
grow. You got to grow. If you're not constantly adapting to me, you're not growing. And one time I was talking to a bunch of moms that had a kid, have kids with Down syndrome, and one of the moms said she literally stood up in this group of like 25 of us moms, and she goes, "I have something to say." We're like, "What?" She goes, "I'm a fucking succulent." And we were like, "Okay." And she's like, "Succulents need nothing to survive, right? They just give them a little bit of water, a little tiny bit of dirt or stone or whatever, and they're like, I'm fucking growing." Right? They don't take no for an answer. And we were all like, we're all succulents.
There you go. There's a
So, you
piece of
know what?
advice.
Yeah.
Be a
Yeah.
succulent.
Be a succulent. I love it so much.
Mate. Mate, thank you so much, man. And give
Thank you.
I know we got John, but what's the name of the gym? Give it a shout out.
All level CrossFit,
All level CrossFit. Where is it?
Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Good old Canada.
Uh, we're so nice.
Oh, Canada. That comes into my head every time I hear the word, man.
Yeah.
Like me and the missus went to she's from Ottawa, so we went home for Christmas.
Nice.
First time I've ever been to Canada. Fucking mega place, man.
Oh, Ottawa's amazing.
Love that place, man. Like the cold,
Yeah.
I can breathe. Oh yeah, it's good.
We disagree on that, but it's fine. But Ottawa is amazing. It's an amazing city. I've only been a couple times, but it's clean. It's really cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Cool people, man. It's
Hey, come to
Canadians.
Windsor if you're ever around again.
Mate, I'm in. I'm in. Let's go to some
Do it.
fitness.
Let's do it.
Let's get kicked in the face by some fitness. And then let's have a
Fran, you
beer.
and me. You and
We're
me,
in.
Fran. You can kick my ass.
Oh God. Fran. Okay, fine. Fine, I'm in.
All right, man.
Mate, we'll speak soon. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank
Bye,
you.
Jim. Bye, everybody.